Hey, it's Neecee Lexy lighting up your screen. Digital magic like you've never seen. From the stage to the mic, she's bringing.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the live interview with Neecee Lexy. Today I have a special guest who are making an impact in both the academic and the tech world. He is a PhD researcher in informatics engineering, sustainability research at the University of Electrocommunication in Tokyo, Japan, as well as he's a lecturer at University of Juba, a freelancer full stack developer with a strong background in engineering, research, software development. He is deeply involved in sustainability focused technology solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Menzu. And it's my pleasure to have him today with us here. How are you doing today, Menzu?
First and foremost, it's a great honor and pleasure to be in your platform and in this particular session. I would like to say that I'm really very happy to be on your space. So based on your time difference, good evening, and yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you for taking
Thank
the
you.
time out of your busy day. We appreciate you for, even considering coming into our show. Before we start, I know you have extensive knowledge on the engineering for information technology, as well as a full stack developer. Can you share a little bit about like your journey? How did you get into the informatic engineering, and what inspired you to actually focus on sustainability? Can you just give us a little background on that journey?
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, more than a decade ago, that's in 2012.
Mhm.
I got accepted into South Sudan's premier university. That's the University of Juba, to
Mhm.
do bachelor's with honors in information technology.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much from where the journey started. And when I completed my bachelor's, it took a little bit longer due to the political climate and the instabilities in terms of the educational sector and the country as well. So the degree took a little longer than it should have.
Mhm.
I completed it in 2018, and then a year later, um, I got an opportunity to move to Japan. But this one was pretty much a special one,
Mhm.
because there's always a link between the society, people,
Mhm.
and tech. So there is a bridge that tech builds between the people and the society, particularly in terms of the social interactions.
Mhm.
And this is very important when it comes in the field of social informatics, when it comes to um, uh, crisis management, or else disasters or hazards. And Japan was a unique case due to the 2011 disaster in Japan.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, the infamous um, tsunami that happened in Japan, and I think it was an opening moment for me to realize that Japan um, has had extensive experience in terms of managing these and involving information and communications technology
Mhm.
in not only mitigating hazards that are pretty much related to maybe climate change or nature, but also in disaster recovery um, and mitigation of risks. So they've involved a lot of tech in that.
Mhm.
And when I came for my master's, I particularly wanted to do informatics and engineering, and particularly my areas of research focused on social informatics.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's the background. Thank you.
I love the journey, how you were able to not only like take an interest in what happened there, but as well as like kind of related with your academic and kind of finding that solution with the sustainability and everything else. It's really quite interesting and fascinating. I never actually thought about how we can relate that to the event that actually happened in 2011. So when it comes to the sustainability, like what does your research in sustainability at the university kind of involve? Like any other like cool project that you guys worked on in order to kind of relate to what you actually went for?
Yes. So in terms of sustainability and the
Mm.
projects that I've been working on, I've worked on a number of research papers,
Mhm.
um, cross-cutting about on um, disasters in South Sudan, particularly
Mhm.
flooding. Um, it's much more of a certain more of other areas,
Mhm.
but information and communication technology just adds to the synergies that exist. So,
Yeah.
for instance, yes. So, for instance, we have data, but it's pretty much old data,
Mhm.
and then we use computer algorithms to study this data,
Mhm.
manipulate it, and then generate predictions. For instance, predictions of the behavior of the Nile,
Mhm.
and projections and predictions of possible floodings could
Mhm.
also were also taken into context, and not only the Nile but also the tributaries that feed the Nile. For
Mhm.
instance, the Sobat River.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have worked on a number of these papers
Yeah.
and contributed to the body of literature as well in terms of predictive modeling and uh, computer algorithms that help contribute to the synergies of not only mitigating
Mhm.
but also contributing to recovery and many other aspects. And also in terms of social informatics as well, it's really large and huge in
Mhm.
terms of what it covers. I also did a research by then um, before X was Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I also carried out a research related to NLP, that's natural language processing
Yeah.
in computing, and it was uh, surprising to see the amount of sensitive content from, for instance, the South Sudanese community, the online community, what they post on Twitter, and when you check through it and um, look through it with the lens of NLP, you find that the sentiments are pretty much polarizing.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I did that when I was still doing my masters, and
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much I've done things related to disaster management and um, uh, mitigation, as well as areas of NLP.
Mhm.
And then talking about its breadth and length of uh, um, informatics,
Mhm.
um, currently I have students also who I supervise at the University of Juba,
Mhm.
and one of the research of the students actually focuses on utilizing GIS. So I didn't also mention that one focal area of interest is also GIS for me. So he he has been doing a project on uh, predicting land cover growth or changes in land cover
Mm-hmm.
in Juba. So it covers Juba County
Oh wow.
for the next 10 years from 2020 from 2024 to 2033. And he has been using Landsat data,
Mm-hmm.
uh, satellite imagery gathered from 1993
Oh
until
wow.
2020. Yes, until 2023. And his research is pretty much interesting. Not only is he able to predict land cover
Mm.
for the near future, things to do with um, urban growth, vegetative cover or plant cover, bare area. So he found out that vegetative cover in particular has been on a sharp decline from 1993, and then when you relate it to social aspects, you find out that um, people in Juba complaining recently of too much heat, and then
Yeah.
yes, you also visualize that a bare area
Mm.
has increased while vegetative cover reduces, and water somehow remains constant because pretty much there is little that a lot of people can do
Yeah.
with a river as big as the Nile. Yes, yeah. So
That's
it's
interesting.
mm,
Yeah.
a number of interesting projects,
Mm.
and his other colleagues are doing projects related to um, NLP, for instance,
Mm.
um, using something called focusing on a branch of NLP called named entity relations.
Yeah.
It's it's uh, it's a little bit wide, but it's predicting the entities in text. For instance, would a computer differentiate apple as a company from apple as a fruit? Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
Yes, and a couple of interesting projects that my students also in my areas of research have
Yeah.
um, been involved in. Yeah.
Wow, these are quite number of like projects that you have been involved, and they all seem to be interesting in their own like field, especially
Yes.
when you were talking about the GIS, which is the Geographical Information System, and how
Yes.
he was able to go like gather data from like back, years back, and then kind of predict what's actually happening. And then the fact that, a lot of people's like, Juba is hot, they don't really
Yes.
know like what's going on. And then from a perspective of that research and the findings, it's what other solutions can the government do or the people in Juba can do in order to help with those information that he have discovered at the moment, because these are very valuable information.
Mm, yes. So one of the recommendations is the improvement and increase in the number of green spaces
Yeah.
within the city. Because if you look at Juba right now, it's
Mhm.
pretty hard to find parks that are sustained. I mean, green parks,
Mhm.
green environments
Mhm.
that are meant to to stand through time. Um, when public spaces are designated for particular uses, you find out that there are individuals who squat on these pieces of land,
Mhm.
and then it contributes to hotter temperatures within the county and the capital
Mhm.
uh, well, and also in the outskirts of uh, the country,
Mhm.
um, and Juba in particular, vegetative cover has decreased due to practices such as logging
Mhm.
to provide sources of um, um, uh, um, to provide source of power, for instance, in kitchens,
Wow.
to be used in terms of charcoal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is not a lot of gas or electricity that people use, so they rely on sources such as charcoal, for instance. So you find out that a number of people are already in the charcoal business, destroying a lot of vegetative cover, and this also contributes to the warming of the city.
Mhm.
Yeah. The other recommendations is, of course, things like also the surfaces that people use in their construction types.
Yeah.
There is pretty much a lot of informal settlements in Juba, and you find out that the whole informal housing is made up of elements that actually retain or reflect a lot of heat. Things to do with iron sheets, for instance.
Yeah. Those ones.
Yes, yeah, those ones do
Yeah.
not contribute to lowering the heat.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because if you are sitting under iron sheet room or whatever that is essentially it's like heat is being like generated. It's
yes,
crazy. I remember
yes,
even me like growing up in Khartoum, there's quite a number of homes that the roofing they'll be using iron sheet, and these rooms are really, really hot. It's like an oven.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I can definitely, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, for instance, if you go to rural areas in the outskirts of Juba, you
Yeah.
find out that there are lots of grass thatched houses, and
Yeah.
in comparison to housings made up of iron sheets, it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Yes.
People definitely need to rethink the real estate construction and what material they should be using, and
Yes.
also
Mm,
maybe work on a greener Juba campaign to see like how
yes.
people can contribute and actually growing more like trees and things like that, become
Yes.
more like earth friendly environment.
Mm.
Yeah.
Step up your style game with Neecee Lexy Boutique. From trendy activewear to stylish shoes, we've got everything you need to shine. Shop now for the latest fashion pieces, comfort, style, and confidence all in one place.
Mm.
Another
That's,
thing.
that's right.
So let's talk about academia and teaching. I know you are also a lecturer at University of Java. Like, what courses do you teach there, and what is your experience like working with some of these students? I know you already mentioned a few of the amazing projects some of your students are doing. Can you just elaborate more on like the courses and the stuff that you're also doing for University of Java?
Okay. Thank you very much. First and foremost, on the topic of lecturing at the University of Juba.
Yeah.
Well, after I completed my bachelor's at the university, I was appointed a teaching assistant,
Mm-hmm.
for which I operated at first from the University of Juba for the past 6 months. And as a teaching assistant, I had not a lot to do, apart from a number of coordinations,
Mm-hmm.
and also being like the class attendant for senior teaching staff, and also at times um, practice teaching while they sit at the backyard on
Yeah.
courses like introduction to computer science and information technology, and introductory courses like databases, and a few introductory courses on programming, as well as web development.
Yeah.
And when I traveled to when I actually came to Japan in 2019, I continued to make a few coordinations online, and also students would consult with me
Yeah.
at their free time. And when I completed my master's, I returned to Juba for a period of 90 days,
Yeah.
in which my statusship was upgraded uh, to a junior lecturer. And I have not actually taught a lot of courses because of my absence in Juba, but
Yeah.
I do most of the things online,
Mm.
including supervision of grad projects for undergraduate students.
Mhm.
And well, much as my areas of interests have changed and shifted a little bit from most of the courses that maybe I had a lot of interest in while I was
Yeah.
still doing my bachelor's. I still do a lot of programming,
Mhm.
um, more especially web-based.
Mhm.
Yeah, building web systems. So this also helps me in terms of delivering courses that are related to web development. For instance, we have a course called um, website development, web dev 1, web dev 2, and
Yeah.
then object-oriented programming, um, which can be used in almost any sense of programming.
Yeah.
And then we also have, of course, databases, relational databases, which are SQL databases, and
Yeah.
non-relational databases, which are called non-SQL databases. So a lot of the courses focus around these areas.
Amazing.
Mm.
Amazing. I love that. So it's like I know you basically started studying there, became a TA, and then finally a lecturer, and then you still continue to do it even though you're far away. It's quite interesting, and obviously, being in technology is like, yes, you utilize the power of like online teaching and everything like that. You have that capacity.
Yes.
So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you found in educating these young engineers in South Sudan, and how can they be addressed to make sure that they're actually getting the equipped informations or the equipped materials to teach them the right way? Because just from your experience, what do you think is like the biggest challenging for them?
Okay. First and foremost, internet. Online presence needs a reliable. It doesn't just need internet, but it needs a reliable and affordable internet.
Mhm.
So these young students back home, for them to be able to not only uh, attend some of my sessions, but also learn on their own a lot of things that they could do by themselves. They need a reliable, functional, and affordable internet. Talking of which, South Sudan has some of the craziest internet prices
Yeah.
uh, in the region, and um, it's even more than a double or more than three times what people pay in neighboring countries like
Mhm.
Kenya, Uganda,
Mhm.
Ethiopia, and Rwanda. So they find it as a big challenge. I've postponed a number of sessions
Yeah.
with them, and sometimes one person uh, might not be able to attend, maybe for reasons related to internet, but also Juba does not actually have a functional national grid. not just Juba, but South Sudan doesn't have a national grid that spans through the breadth and width of the country. So a lot of homes are not connected to power, and these students do not stay in hostels that are powered up or provided with power from the sources that from the power sources that currently are in use in Juba, the limited ones.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they come from areas that are either far from the existing grid that I think is going to become the national grid, or else they could still come from areas that are accessible to these grids, but they don't have access to power. Just like internet, electricity is very expensive
Yeah.
in, yes, in South Sudan, and then there are also a lot of discrepancies and irregularities in terms of the payments. You find out that people are charged differently, even if they could literally use the same amount of kilowatts, they might be charged differently. So we've had stories from different people on how the charges are accrued, and it's a little bit disturbing. So I think these are the two main challenges that learners, not only at the School of Computer Science and Information Technology, where I work, or the University of Juba in particular, but and the whole country in general, learners face the challenges related to power and internet, and we're in the digital age.
Wow.
Things to do with accessibility to the internet. I know a lot has actually changed in terms of access to the internet,
Mhm.
and a little bit of affordability as well, thanks to the National Communications Authority, which has done an enormous work. I think it's under the leadership of Engineer Napoleon Adok. So he has done an enormous work, and I think in the next few years, um, the affordability and the reliability of both internet and power will be improved, and we might shift to other challenges instead of working on this in the near future.
I
Yeah.
really, really hope so, because the world is moving so fast in terms of like the technology, and a lot of,
Yes.
for example, like in Canada here, a lot of a student can just basically go on Google, go on YouTube, learn a lot of those things because they have
Yes.
vast numbers of information online that people can learn from it, and a lot of
Yes.
certification that people can also take. But if you don't even have the electricity, the data to even go online, it's even going to make it a bit difficult. And
Yeah.
quite interesting, from your experience, to mention that, because I thought the student will come to University of Juba and actually what's it called, watch those lectures. So is the university not providing them with the screen to actually watch the lectures, or they would have to do it online in their laptops at home?
Okay. Thank you on that.
Yeah.
The University of recent has actually improved in terms of the services that it provides.
Yeah.
Um, and there are a number of companies as well that are providing internet services to the university on goodwill, as a sign of goodwill. And one of the companies has covered the School of Computer Science and Information Technology, providing them with internet at the main computer lab and the administration. But the challenge is that um, uh, uh, this internet is only accessible to the staff,
Oh.
and well, since it's a recent development, I think the college or the School of Computer Science and Information Technology um, is is still trying its best to make sure that um, uh, um, the avenues and services that pertain to internet and the environment for online programs um, will be able to suit the interest of the students. But other schools, for instance, the School of Medicine, have already done this. I
Mhm.
think it has lasted for more than a decade, because when I was still a student at the University of Juba,
Mhm.
the School of Medicine, at that time it was called the College of Medicine,
Mhm.
used to have a number of collaborations with US-based universities,
Mhm.
and they used to have um, online classes or recorded sessions that are delivered um, to the students remotely.
Mhm.
And yeah, um, it should have actually been the opposite way. The
Yeah.
School of Computer Science and Information Technology should be the one to start these developments,
Yeah.
and should act as the pioneer. And yes, about downloading these sessions and letting the students watch offline. Yes, we have been able to do some of these projects and give it as offline modules. But with the challenges of the internet, as I said earlier, downloading um, 1 GB of a video is a little bit expensive for for many students. But I would look it I would look at it from the point of maybe the institution itself
Yeah.
downloading these resources with the internet that they have, and then projecting it locally without the need of internet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, that should be operational.
Then they would have to kind of compress the video even to make sure that it's
Yeah.
download at that capacity. Yeah,
Mm.
it's we South Sudan have a long way to go. There's a lot to be done and to be improved. And I hope that if they can use the University of Medicine for Juba as an example, what they have done successfully, and then kind of like roll that out to other department, I believe that will be like game changer
Yes.
in the country. Yeah, so it's really amazing. The other thing I wanted to ask, because this is a lot of challenges that's happening to these students who are eager to learn or eager to become a software engineers or developers
Mm.
like that. How do you encourage them to continue to pursue their career in research when they have all these challenges that they're experiencing? You know, because
Well,
mentally,
mm,
emotionally, there's a lot.
yes, yes. Um, One thing that I do is
Yeah.
use myself as an example.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a student at the University of Juba,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have most of the available services that they currently do.
Mm-hmm.
So we relied most on the library. And when it comes to tech,
Mm-hmm.
well, much as it's important um, to to have an online presence, or to have access to um, resources online, it is also vital and crucial to have access to a library, a physical library that will provide them with books, for instance,
Yeah.
and they can read more. Um, the University of Juba has a well maintained library,
Yeah.
and I think if they use that as an addition to what they get online, it will be better, and
Mm-hmm.
it will be good for their own development in terms of their career as well. So
Yeah.
it's not only me who studied at the school and then graduated and started working there. A
Mhm.
number of my colleagues with whom I studied with
Mhm.
also came from the same institution. Um, Others went to other different countries. Um, Two of my best colleagues,
Mhm.
one was in India. He did his master's and he went back at he's currently teaching. And
Mhm.
the other one was in two different countries, Rwanda and Tanzania. So he did his master's in those two countries and went back to give back to the community of the School of Computer Science and Information Technology.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for the students to also focus on these services that they have locally, and also benefit from a pool of a lot of the teaching staff who have different areas of research.
Step up your style game with Neecee Lexy Boutique. From trendy activewear to stylish shoes, we've got everything you need to shine. Shop now for the latest fashion pieces, comfort, style, and confidence all in one place.
And different backgrounds,
Yeah.
and yeah, of different teaching staff. So the teaching staff that are at the school are of more value to the students in
Mhm.
terms of guiding them um, on their career path, and a lot more. So I think it's important for the students to also focus on that. Mm.
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. That's really, really crucial, and it's very important for them to know that somebody from this school have done it, even though they didn't have the resources, that the privilege that they have now. So it's giving them
Yes,
more encouragement to be like, hey, look, it's only a matter of time. It gets better each generation. So they should just
yes,
be patient with the growth and the changes that's happening in the school. I love that. Um,
yeah.
and also, in terms of like technology and engineering, obviously, you as an engineer in the informatic, what are some key skills or tools that are very crucial in your field that you feel that everybody should have being on your specific field of career?
Well, um, there was a famous say that the illiterate of the current century
Yeah.
is not someone who cannot read or write, but someone who cannot operate a computer. Yes. Um, so I think when it comes to computing,
Yeah.
there are a lot of um, things or skills that an individual can have, but it is very important to focus
Mhm.
on a particular niche, on a particular skill,
Yeah.
and perfect it. Yeah, because um, if you try to learn everything, you will master none.
Mhm.
Yes, if you choose a path to do, for instance, game development, you can focus on that, and you'll improve day by day. But if you choose game development and then you choose web development, within web development, you also go for front end, back end, and you also do mobile app development, and you find out that okay, you know all, but you have mastered none.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to pick one and then perfect it. So this comes with languages.
Mm.
Of course, in this field, the computer is like a human, and you need to talk to a human with another language, right? So the computer understands some languages,
Mm.
and some of the languages they still need to also be translated for the computer to understand them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very important to pick these languages
Mm-hmm.
that you're interested in, and the resulting path that you will take.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for instance, of recent, Python. Python has gained a lot a, a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Um, not only because it can be used for developing applications, but its use in research
Mm.
is, yeah, it's extensive. It's used in machine learning. It's really extensive, and of course you can also use it for developing mobile apps, for developing websites. It
Mm.
comes with its own set of frameworks. There is one called Flask and the other one called Django, and
Yeah.
then, yeah, you could also choose a different language, for instance JavaScript
Mm-hmm.
script, and then take its the um, um, frameworks that are associated with it. For instance, React. Um,
Mm.
uh, you also learn about its backend using Express. I mean Node.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things like that. And you also need to choose, for instance, a database of interest.
Mm-hmm.
You could be using what I mentioned earlier, SQL database or a NoSQL database.
Yeah.
For just for clarity, a SQL database is one that arranges things in terms of rows
Yeah.
and columns. Yeah, it's just more of the Excel table.
Yeah.
You give an ID and blah blah, and
Yeah.
create relations. A table A is related to table B in terms of this and that. So it's also important that people make sure that they choose the ones that they are interested in instead of focusing on all of them. Talking of the databases, you could go with something like MariaDB,
Mm-hmm.
MySQL, or smaller ones like
Yeah.
uh, SQLite or SQLite, and NoSQL databases like also Mongo, which do not necessarily store data in terms of rows and columns, but it stores data in terms of documents which are accessed using another. Oh, okay, it's not small,
Yeah.
but it's a tool or a language. I don't want to call it a language, but JSON. Yeah, it's a tool that can be used in all environments.
Mm.
So there are a number of these languages that we use to interface with the computer. Some of them are pretty much old, like Pascal, COBOL, and
Yeah.
they're still existing. And a lot of systems are built on this. And we also have, of course, the most powerful one, like Java, which is still dominating.
Yeah.
My advice is that you choose a particular one, focus on it, and then continue evolving and improving. And in relation to what I said, that
Mm-hmm.
the illiterate of this century should, I mean, the illiterate of this century is one who cannot operate a computer. Here is how it becomes cross-cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, these days, Python is not just used by technologists. Python and languages like R
Mm.
are good for manipulating data, and data is present in every field. You go to the medical field, there is data. In my field, even if it's computing,
Yeah.
we have um, um, uh, a lot of interactions with data from the medical field.
Yeah.
There is something called health informatics, for instance.
Yeah.
You could not necessarily be a doctor, but you need these tools. And
Mm.
then for sociologists, for instance, they also need to learn
Mm.
uh, these languages for them to be able to um, capture the data,
Mm.
scan the data, and make use of the data.
Yeah.
And these languages have become easier and simpler to learn due to the frameworks. A framework is a um, is a small tool
Mhm.
that is built based on that language to simplify tasks for
Yeah.
that particular language. So, for instance, on Python, you all have open I mean uh, PyXL, for instance, that helps you integrate things to do with Excel. So you could come from a different field that's not computing, but when it comes to research,
Yeah.
you need these tools. You need these languages.
These
Um,
are very
yeah.
extensive tools. Yeah. Like, because a lot of time people, when they think of like information technology, they're like, oh my God, it's something that's, all has to be with maths, like data, HTML coding. But
Yes.
a lot of times it's like people forget that some of these languages actually like word written, prompt and things
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
Mm.
And it's really um interesting to kind of like hear it from your perspective, just being in the field, and kind of also like mentioning how um other field, like the medical field, can also use it. Even us, for me in marketing, we use
Yes.
a lot because we rely a lot with like the data, like lead forms that are coming in,
Mm.
and our
Mm.
Excel sheets and things like that. So now I'm just kind of seeing like the whole connections of like different department can actually utilize the stuff that you guys are doing. It's really interesting to know that it's there. Is there any a specific, let's say, trends do you see like in the technology right now that is shaping sustainability space in the next few 5 years or 10 years? Just from your experience, also you've been doing research a lot on it as well.
Yes. AI, artificial intelligence.
It's a big topic.
Yes, it's a big topic,
Yeah.
and the reason why it's reshaping
Yeah.
um, what has existed is that a lot of systems that we've relied on um, required or needed a lot of data
Mm-hmm.
for them to be able to give us information that is reliable,
Mm-hmm.
functional, and trustable. And for these new technologies within the field of machine learning and artificial intelligence, um, they optimize um, based on the data, and they do not take a lot of data
Mm-hmm.
compared to the conventional methods in terms of research. And um, this is cross-cutting because um, if if a system does not require a lot of data but uses the small existing data, it means that in terms of sustainability, areas with data scarcity can benefit from this.
Yeah.
Um, we come from a region where data is not very important for for the authorities, so we end up relying on publicly available data.
Yeah.
So if we have a section of locally available data and we can partner it with a publicly available data, and then it's something that we can benefit from using AI.
That's
Yes.
yeah. AI is a very, very big topic. I remember even for me in my field of career, when in 2020, like we were not really like talking
Mm.
about AI. We were that time it's like in Google, we were actually pitching to clients to start optimizing their ads with with like machine learning. A lot of the
Yes.
guys were hesitant, but then now look at it 5 years later, everybody's like chat GPT, da 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 da, PMAX.
Yes.
Things has changed in just a matter of
Yes.
5 years. And then I don't
Yes.
know, like,
Mm.
and there's even recently we were talking about how a lot of the people also like lost their career due to the changes in AI because they were not keeping up with the technology. And then
Yeah.
there's also even a new career that's been invented. It's called like AI prompt. That's also a job now. So AI is definitely coming into the market and like changing the game of a lot of like industries and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and also
And mm,
go ahead, go ahead.
it's actually proving a challenge
Yeah,
to a lot of people back home. I remember there was this section
yeah,
of our elderly population
yeah,
that is referred to as the BBC, born before computers, and they find it a little bit hard to adapt.
yeah,
And much as there are a lot of them who have, of course, learned,
yeah.
you might find that there are people who were proficient with computing,
Mm-hmm,
but because they have not kept up to date
mm-hmm,
with the trends, then it's becoming a challenge.
yeah,
And that means that we should keep evolving. We should keep changing. I mean, we should keep learning and relearning and updating ourselves, because if just within a span of 5 years, everything has almost changed.
yeah.
Yes, and
It's
but
very
it's important to be very careful with AI as well.
so this is the interesting part of it when it comes to AI,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
a lot of people are relying on AI to do the task for them, or even like writing. Some people now don't even write their own email. They'd be like, okay, chat GPT do this for me, chat GPT do that for me. So I'm worried about the next generation. Are they actually equipped to be having that human written ability, or are they just gonna be letting the computer do everything for them? So what's your take on that point of view? Because for me this is like it's mind boggling. And I'm seeing like videos of like a student, because back in the days when I was in school in 2016,
Mm.
when you're writing a research, this is something you have to
Yes.
books, you have to do a lot of like research, write a report, and then submit it into Turnitin. They check for plagiarism. But now everybody's using ChatGPT. What does that do to the plagiarism side of things? And also, you as a lecturer, do you also take that into consideration when you're marking their papers?
Yes. Well, I think it's an interesting one. Um, it's important that AI helps us in automation,
Yeah,
but it is also very important that we should use AI to help us,
yeah,
not to take over, not to take over what we were supposed to do.
yeah,
So you find out these days that there is a gap between between what someone writes and
mhm,
what someone presents.
yeah,
And then that discrepancy means that they are pretty much relying more on AI
yeah,
than than on themselves. And I think in the future we might have a generation of people who whose lives have bots. I mean, uh, um, every single prompt it will be AI to do it
yeah,
for them. So talking about plagiarism, it's a very hot topic right now.
yeah,
Not um, I think in almost every university, um, it's it's advisable that people do not entirely use AI to write their research, but they could consult
Mm.
AI on some other things,
Yeah.
because um, the reason is that these AI systems have um, extensive data,
Mm-hmm.
and if the data that they have is correct, it means that it's reliable. But it's also on the prompt of Gigo, garbage in, garbage out.
Mm-hmm.
So how you trust the information that you get um, from AI prompts should should be proportional to your knowledge.
Yeah.
But if you do not have the knowledge, if you have not mastered the concepts that you're working on,
Yeah.
then you will think that the solutions you're getting from AI are correct.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, maybe um, it's just giving you ideation that you could correct or take to improve the work that you have, but not to rely on it. It's very hard to tackle plagiarism.
Yeah.
The universities subscribe to systems that try to detect plagiarism,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why it's difficult to control plagiarism is that entirely you cannot tell, and that's why plagiarism, a little bit of it is accepted.
Yeah.
Universities,
Yeah.
different universities have their own policies,
Yeah.
and um, research is checked for plagiarism, and I think still they use AI for checking.
Yeah.
Yes. So, a room is left that
Yeah.
maybe that AI might be biased. I mean, there's some people who could also be. I mean, there's some people who are very smart, and AI might mistake their smartness for. I mean,
And
okay,
I noticed there's
if they
also,
misuse. Mm,
there's also new AI. It's
yeah.
called, I think, humanized my AI. So it's like, yes, you are writing with AI, but then you have another AI that will humanize that context of the thing that you already wrote.
Yes, that's a
Wait,
humanoid.
then what's happening here?
Yes. So, so I think some of these things to do with plagiarism
Yeah.
also come from maybe a little bit of mistakes,
Yeah.
things like paraphrasing,
Yeah.
quotation marks, and
Yeah.
AI, of course, will take that literally as plagiarism, and that's why room is left.
Mm-hmm.
Each university, every university, at least leaves a certain room
Mm-hmm.
for plagiarism. If you submit your research or your dissertation, for instance, it should not. My university, the University of Electrocommunications in Tokyo, Japan,
Yeah.
does not allow um, graduations on dissertations or research
Mm-hmm.
to be published that has um, a plagiarism percentage of um, over 20%.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but even if that's from the university level,
Mm-hmm.
from the department level, you don't aim for 20, you aim for 10.
Yeah. Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. Because you cannot be entirely safe by
Yeah.
saying that your research is perfect.
Yeah.
You've consulted a lot of sources. The existing body of research, the literature, was written by someone else,
Mhm.
and you're either proving or contributing something
Yeah.
to existing body of literature. So it's very important that you also try to focus on this and do that. And the challenge is for institutions that are not well funded, like for instance the University of Juba.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, um, they do not use a centralized system that every school in the university uses to check for plagiarism. So it's based on specific schools. They focus on maybe using this and that and that, and most of these systems they are subscription based also.
Mm.
Yes.
That's
So different universities could access the same system, and universities that are not well funded, but if they can afford to pay for this, they could also access. And I think this is something that would help, but entirely to crop out plagiarism and research, it's impossible.
here in Canada, they practice like the plagiarism checking as early as in high school. So like from grade 10, they teach us like will give you to write like reports and things like that. And then we use there's a website called Turnitin. They will ask you to
Yeah.
submit it there. And then there's like you have to make sure that your plagiarism is less than 10%. And because high school students are already practicing submitting their papers online, so by the time they get to university, they already know like the system of like not to do this and what not to do. And then also they teach them about citations, like let's say if you copy, you have to also cite.
Yes.
Yeah, so that
Mm.
also kind of let you a little bit of get away with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like if Juba University start introducing that, that would also be helpful. So we have, I hope, they might start.
But actually, to be honest,
Yeah.
A lot of research that comes from the University of Juba
Mhm.
doesn't go anywhere,
Yeah.
doesn't get published, doesn't get submitted to journals,
Mm.
doesn't get submitted to conferences. Yeah, this is particularly due to funding reasons, I believe.
Yeah.
But in the next coming years, I hope they'll be able to submit their research and contribute to science
Yeah.
as well. And I hope that they also introduce these systems to students as early as possible.
Yeah. I really hope so, because especially early on when you were talking about one of your students who was doing the research that he was doing for the GIS. So if that has been published, I feel like that's also going to be a game changer in the country, because a lot of people are going to be knowing that information. So hopefully there's funding that will also support that research itself. Yeah.
Yes. Hopefully there's funding, but for now,
Yeah.
I publish papers in partnership with my academic advisor at the University of Electrocommunications. And if I still return to South Sudan, I can still publish papers with the University of Electrocommunications in Tokyo.
Awesome.
So
Yes.
Yeah. So we're also hoping that we can submit his paper to a journal.
Oh, right. I love that.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to that. That's really congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
Yeah. And speaking of Japan, how has living and working in Japan influenced a lot of your approach to the engineering and sustainability? Like, how did that influence you a lot? Like, just you experience living there as a student, as a PhD, as a researcher, what that influence has been to you?
Well, a lot of influence in Japan. First and foremost, I don't know where to start from, but a typical Japanese person, is, spends more time online than they would be offline, and they're either accessing information or reading through For instance, if you take a train to anywhere, you'll find that everyone is on their phones
Yeah.
or on their tablets, either accessing information or doing something.
Mhm.
And then I also realized that they focus a lot. They focus on a specific niche and grow from there.
Mhm.
So this has influenced me a lot. And in terms of um, tech,
Mm.
um, I think a lot of uh, Japanese, they focus on their career on a career path. That's why it's very easy to get a job in Japan
Mhm.
for undergraduate students or graduate students. A lot of people get jobs 1 year earlier, particularly in tech,
Mhm.
because they plan pretty much early and focus only on that. And
Mhm.
it's quite interesting. Maybe that could also be related to the job market and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but when it comes to tech in itself,
Yeah.
Japan has been known, of course, for technology, decades old technology, even some centuries old technologies.
Yeah.
But for the young people, I think they're not innovating because they have almost everything existing.
Yeah.
It's us who come from countries that still have these disparities that we identify that there is a problem here, and we try to see how we can use tech to fix that.
Yeah.
But here they do not have a lot of these gaps
Yeah.
to fix, and um it's difficult to compare. It's like two different worlds.
You're trying
So
to catch
that
up.
also yes, that also influences me, and I think in regards to um, uh, influencing my growth in tech,
Yeah.
um, it gives me a platform to see what exists
Mm.
and what I can replicate and do maybe differently
Mhm.
back home in South Sudan, in particular, or Africa in general. So
Mhm.
being in Japan gives me that platform to notice things, to notice
Yeah.
tech, and um, take it as food for thought.
Yeah, so let's continue in our discussion. So, one thing I also wanted to know more about is what are some things that you're currently like working on in Juba in terms of like the technology and the business side? If you can elaborate more on that as well.
Thank you so much, Neecee.
Mhm.
Um, as a side gig for the past 10 years,
Mhm.
um, I've I've been invested a lot in terms of learning um, development, web development.
Mhm.
So past 7 years, I've been active in developing websites and 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 the systems for clients in Juba. So of recent, I've been focusing pretty much on um, web development. Yeah, because as a side note, I'm a full stack developer, and as a full stack developer, I focus on the front end and the back end. The back end things to do with the data, managing your data, storing it, and accessing it in the front end. So yeah, hmm,
Nice.
been-
So, in terms of like obviously Juba like we talked about it earlier, how a lot of them like they struggle with the data,
Mm.
getting like internet or even like the power and things like that. So
Yes.
what has your experience been in terms of like companies actually wanted websites? Like how is that job market and the freelancing market been for you as a web developer serving clients that are in Juba? Is this something that you see a lot of people are more prone to it, or is it something that's still new, not a lot of people are understanding about the value of having a website for their business?
Mm. Um, in South Sudan, a lot of businesses actually do not give enough attention to online presence,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the opportunities that a lot of developers back home
Mm-hmm.
and me remotely who have been getting is from organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the organizations have sources of funding and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then for companies, um, I think their marketing strategy, they tend to think that their clients are not pretty much online.
Mm-hmm.
They prefer uh, physical clients, but it's changing. The narrative is changing
Mm-hmm.
because the number of South Sudanese who can access the internet is increasing.
Yeah.
In the yeah, if we take a look from where it started in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
I mean in 2011 after independence,
Mm-hmm.
um, the numbers have been increasing. The
Yeah.
number of people who can access the internet. If you check from the sides of the telecom companies, it's
Yeah.
almost a million people um, that have access, who are, I mean, users who are active online. So it's a big number, and a number of companies are coming up. But the one of the problems with most companies is they tend to think that developing a website and managing it should be an $100 gig.
Oh no.
Yes, forgetting that um, uh, we do not uh, have servers. We
Mm.
do not host our own data, and
Yeah.
these websites have to be hosted somewhere.
Yeah.
So maybe in the US, in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
South Korea, and a lot of these other places.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to know that in order to invest in that, they also need to uh, give, um, I mean, priority to it. They have to prioritize it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why you'll find out that a lot of companies have Gmail addresses.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm always wondering that as well. I'm like, if you have a
Yes,
website, shouldn't you be also purchasing an email for the business email? Because that's also part of the Google suite.
yes,
When you Microsoft can also offer that and
mm,
that, right?
mm, yes,
And then also you mentioned something so interesting is that people are open to have a website, but because they don't know the value of the website, they think like it's $100 gig, as opposed to
yes,
like, no, the hosting needs to be paid, the web domain needs
yes,
to be paid,
yes,
designer need to also get paid.
yes. The domain names need to be
Yeah,
paid annually,
yeah,
um, or after predefined period of time,
yeah,
and then the hosting. I mean, it's like renting a house.
yeah,
You have these um, um, bunch of money that
yeah.
accrues. I mean, you could pay it at once, or else you could choose to pay based on what you have. But um, it's actually not very expensive to pay for these services.
Yeah. And this
Mm.
this is also where kind of goes in hand because as a web developer, you're already having issues with having client to understand. And then as a
Mm.
marketer, I can't even come into the picture to tell them, hey, we need to improve the SEO. We need to do all of this stuff because they don't even know the value of websites. So now how are they going to even try to pay for people to be showing up on Google?
Yes,
It's
I
quite
think.
interesting dynamic here. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you something. What actually inspired you to start developing a website as a side hustle or as a freelancing, focusing on Juba client, even though you know that not a lot of people are actually doing it? Yeah.
Okay. When I was a student at the University of Juba in 2015, I went to a summit in Rwanda. It was called Transform Africa Summit. And during the summit, one of the side events was a program for young people to pitch their products to investors. The session was called Meet the Gorillas, and the gorillas are the investors, and then you pitch the ideas to them.
So it's like Shark Tank.
Yes. And there was a group of two young men who came out of the competition and won something based on their tech ideas. And I liked one thing that one of the members said. He said, if you're studying computer science or information technology, and as a student you do not earn anything from it, then you are doing the wrong course. I went back home and I felt like, oh, that was a healthy insult because I was already in my second year and I hadn't earned anything from the courses that I was doing at the university. So I said, okay, I'm going to learn web development. I started learning web development, and in the next 5 months, 5 months later, 5 months later, from Rwanda, I earned my first $500 developing a website for an organization.
Now it's business.
Yes, so that was the inspiration.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because I think I read it somewhere that it's like if you're not making money, it doesn't make sense, or it's not. It's a hobby. So
yes.
after you got paid, it's no longer a hobby.
Yes.
I love that. So also from your experience, just also like building a client website, especially like Brigade, what industries or businesses in Juba have shown like the most demand for website building compared to others, like businesses?
Well, schools, for instance, schools in particular, have shown a lot of interest in not just websites, but data management systems. Yeah, because a website is one, but managing the data could also be the other. So building systems for managing data for students, for instance, has been of I think a great increase in terms of the number of clients. It has been spiraling, and there is a lot of interest from that area in particular. And then from organizations, it's just online presence, showing their impacts, their reach, what the organization has been able to achieve, things like that. Yes. Apart from that, I think there are other developers who are focusing on developing for government institutions, and there are a number of institutions which have also shown interest and prioritized their online presence. And for small businesses, no. Most of them are struggling to pay taxes levied by the city council. So the trend is still a little bit.
I like that, you're able to, just from experience, to kind of figure out the niche that is more profitable to you, because obviously you are a businessman, even though you're building the websites and things like that. It's also understanding like the target audience that you're going after. It's quite interesting to also knowing that there's a lot of schools now wanted to be visible, not to be out there by having websites and things like that. It's quite interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. And what advice would you, let's say if there is a young person right now watching these interviews, they're in Juba or somewhere in East Africa, they're like, wow, Menzu, like you really inspire me to also do my own company. What advice would you give them if they want to also like become like an entrepreneur and things like that? Yeah.
Okay. First, I go under my company called Host.
Mm-hmm.
And my advice is that they should start small.
Mm-hmm.
People should be able to start small and then build on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't have a client, focus on first building the skills, and then the first few clients. Normally, it's not a very good pay, so you can use those as stepping stones.
Yeah.
Yeah, into the business model. Yes, so I think within South Sudan,
Mm-hmm.
South Sudanese have a leverage because there are a lot of gaps within,
Mm-hmm.
and if we compare that to the region,
Yeah.
like tech developers in Kenya, Uganda, or Rwanda, it's I mean the margin is so wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and South Sudan has an untapped market
Yeah.
that a lot of young people can focus on, and we're also looking to that period of time that um, those with tech companies can also benefit from bigger tech companies that do things like outsourcing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we also hope that we'll reach that period and see how to build on that.
Nice, nice. So this is really quite interesting how you're now able to not only have a stable business, getting client. Now, my question would be in terms of the payment, because I know a lot of the payment that is done in Sudan or South Sudan, it's either by MoneyGram or things like that. Like, how do client able to pay you online? It's because you are essentially like most of your work is like you're doing it from far away.
Mm.
Have you noticed that now they are able to do like a mobile payment, or how does the payment process go about?
Well, payment is a challenge,
Yeah.
and as far as the APIs,
Yeah.
application programming interfaces used by mobile telecom companies in
Yeah.
South Sudan, they're still not open to the public, and while that might not affect me in terms of how I get paid, but it affects how we integrate payment systems
Yeah.
into their systems.
Mhm.
But in terms of them paying me for my gigs, well, we have a physical presence,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much difficult for a lot of clients to
Yeah.
pay online.
Yeah.
Though there are a number of them who have the privileges of using online presence to pay, using things like cards, debit or credit cards. It's possible, but most of the payments have been physical.
Yeah.
Physical. You walk into
Mhm.
I mean to the individual and pick the money physically.
Yeah.
Yes.
The reason why I'm saying that is because there is a lot of people that are in the e-commerce space, right? Like the e-commerce, retail, and things like that. I noticed they're not really visible online in terms of like selling their merchandise. Could that also be from the point that because there is no payment system available right now in South Sudan, or is it because people are not really right now focused on the online market at the moment? So what is actually the
Hmm. I think the gap is in integrating convenient payment systems. For
yeah.
instance, we have mobile money.
Mhm,
Mobile money could be used.
mhm,
I mean, could be integrated into these systems, these e-commerce systems,
mhm.
and clients could use it for um, purchasing things, right? But then the APIs, the application programming interfaces for these mobile payment systems are not open to the public. They're
Mhm.
closed. They're monopolized. So they're only used by those companies. And then when it comes to access to online resources, or else, for instance, debit cards from banks,
Mhm.
a lot of young people in South Sudan do not have that.
Yeah.
I have a debit card from EcoBank, for instance,
Mhm.
and I can still use it even here in Japan. But I
Yeah.
think there is that sensitization that also needs to be done. A lot of people still believe that, oh, because we're sanctioned, we cannot do this, we cannot have these cards. But
Yeah.
yeah, but they're existing.
Wow, that's really good.
Mm.
It's really good to know that these stuffs are also existing because especially for businesses that are like outside of South Sudan, they wanted to be able to like
Mm.
send products there and things like that. It's gonna make
Yes.
a lot more connect like better
Mm.
connection, better service. Yeah. Is there
Yes.
any other cool projects and things like that that you are doing in Juba at the moment? Um, that we need to know, or how can we follow it?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Right now, I'm working actually with a team of female engineers.
Mm-hmm.
We're developing their web system
Yeah.
uh, in-house. Yes. So we have a weekly meeting,
Yeah.
and it's interesting that um, they're so much into tech
Yeah.
than you could imagine. So there is an organization that focuses on um, introducing STEM
Yeah.
to primary school, junior
Yeah.
high school, and university students, in particular female students, helping them to guide them in terms of their career choices, career
Yeah.
path, and also um, talking about STEM,
Yeah.
that is science, technology, and mathematics. And
Mhm.
sometimes they call it as STEAM, the A for arts, integrating arts into STEM.
Yeah.
And they've been doing an incredible work. Uh, they lead an organization called Go Girls ICT Initiative.
Yeah.
So, of recent, since the start of the year, we've been focusing on um, improving the existing uh, site
Mhm.
and making sure that it's developed in-house.
Mhm.
And the reason why I said it's in-house, it's because I am also part of them.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've been hoping on a number of initiatives
Yeah.
um, uh, for the organization, and
Yeah.
yeah, since I was a student as well, and after coming back to Japan, and yeah, it's amazing that this collaboration with the team of female engineers is
Yeah.
really working out so well.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
And just to think about it, it's like, in the tech industry, female
Yes.
numbers are very, very quite few. I remember my time at Google. in Toronto here in the Google vendor.
Mm.
I was the only black girl for almost 2 years in the whole department.
Oh,
And then there's probably in my team, there's 3 of us, 3 females, and then in the other team, like 5. But
yes.
being the only South Sudanese girl for the whole entire department and the only black girl, I was like, what's going on here? And then 2.5 years, they brought another one, girl. I was like, okay, let's do better.
Yeah.
Out of that, I became like the only female trainer out of our group that actually graduated.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
So when you talk about teaching girls STEM and actually helping them with the career choices, this is something we need because it's such a male-dominated industry. It's not.
It's a male-dominated industry. My school back home is male-dominated. In relation to what you just said, when we graduated, there were only 2 ladies. There were only 2 ladies, and men were more than 30. I mean, we're about 40 plus. And only 2 ladies, one from the Department of Computer Science and the other one from the Department of IT. And I think there was that big gap that needs to be filled.
At first I thought maybe it's because not a lot of girls are interested in this, but also I kind of also noticed that it was not that particular. It's also because not so many people that are visible to tell girls, hey, look, there's a girl there actually doing it, why don't you do it? So it's good you guys have those female to be able to be like the representation of like the other ones that are coming. They can also see themselves, and then with you obviously we need the men as to support us there as well.
Yes. I think men need to play a crucial role in making sure that this gap is filled, because these ladies are their daughters and their sisters. So it's very important. Yes.
I'm so happy about that project. I'm looking forward to see the end result, also the website that you guys are developing and all the cool project that you guys are currently working on. How far along are you guys with the marketing and everything for that project, or still on the development?
Oh, well, actually, as an organization, they've existed for 10 years already.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And they have a presence on Facebook, and currently, of course, they have a website accessible. But the technology that was used for developing the website is a little bit outdated. That's why we're trying to do something in-house, and I hope you can also have the opportunity to interview them. Why not?
I would love it. That would be really amazing, because that would also kind of like, what's it called? If I bring them here and all the girls actually sees it, there's going to be so many young females that actually wanted to get to know more about it and actually be a part of it. Yeah. So it'd be nice. Yeah.
Okay, maybe to give more info on that, listeners out there might be asking, who is he talking about? So the female engineers I'm talking about, it's engineer Eva Yai.
Yeah.
And engineer Yine Yankee.
Okay.
And Yine, for instance, is part of the NCA, National Communications Authority. She works on the board. So I hope you can be able to bring them on board and talk to them and share their stories.
That would be really amazing.
And they're based in Juba.
Definitely. If we can bring them here and also discuss it, because there's so many like one-off South Sudanese people, like female, that are on the tech, but because we don't really have that connections to communicate with each other, so a lot of us is just like doing one-off things. But if we can actually get to know each other and build that ecosystem of like people in the industry, that will also encourage a lot of women to also join in.
Yes.
I love that. I'll definitely connect with them.
Sure, you should.
And the other thing I wanted to also just kind of ask you in terms of like the challenges that you face in terms of, like, for example, when it comes to encouraging a lot of the female to join the STEM program and things like that? What are some of the challenges that kind of discouraging them not to even join?
There are a lot of challenges that discourage them. Um, when you talk about tech, preach about tech, and introduce them to tech, they should also have the avenues to do this on their own. And a lot of them do not get support from where they come from. And institution-wise, the institutions also are a little bit lacking. You'll find that there are schools that even do not have computers, for instance. And we're talking about tech to a generation of which tech actually belongs to them. And it's good if we can inspire them, but it's better if they can also have some assurances from where they come from, some support from where they come from. This could be huge in terms of their career path guidance. And the other thing is a lot of them also do not know how wide this field is. A lot of parents still talk about children becoming doctors. It's very important. It's very important, of course, but it's also very important to see the progress of your kid at school, so that you can make informed career choices. No one is born to become a doctor or an engineer or a pilot, but most of our parents, their minds are fixated. I want you to become a pilot, or I want you to become a lawyer. Forgetting that, maybe their kid is better in STEM related courses, and they could become someone else, someone different. So it's also awareness on potential career path in tech. So it should be done like nationwide. And ICT should also be integrated. So in the syllabus, in the curriculum. We cannot be talking about ICT and then the curriculum is letting them focus only on English and and the rest. So it's also very important that ICT is integrated as early as possible.
And do you think that right now, with regards to the project that you guys are working on, and then also just in Juba, the government, are they currently working towards empowering also female to get into the entrepreneurship sector, because that's going to also like open new doors, Are they empowering those women as well in that department?
Most of the empowering is done by non-governmental organizations, because most of the governmental parastatals are focused more in filling the gaps that were left by the Sudanese regime. In terms of infrastructure, in terms of accessibility, a lot of things. So when it comes to advocacy and support and a lot of this has been left to organizations, and I think most organizations are really doing a great work in terms of that.
And have you guys tried to reach out to United Nations to also like support this initiative for the girls in STEM?
Oh yes.
Because for me, it falls under, because they have the 17 what's called
SDGs.
So it's like falls under the number 10, which is like reduce inequity within like country, things like that. Have you guys got a chance to reach out to them?
There are a number of other initiatives in addition to that one. A number of international institutions that actually help girls in tech.
Yeah.
Every year, I think they celebrate the Girls in Tech Day,
Yeah.
and um, most of these international institutions have helped. I think, for instance, the ITU,
Hmm.
the National Telecommunication Union,
Hmm.
whose services can be accessed via,
Mhm.
for instance, the National Telecommunications Union in South Sudan, and then it can try to spread this via the existing organizations or agencies within the country. So it's very important that such organizations also align with parastatals in the country, for instance, the
Mhm.
National Communications Authority, because most of these international bodies, they come through that, they're streamlined via that. It's
Yeah.
easier to go through an institution like NCA
Yeah.
than to individually access that. But I hope many are also
Mhm.
doing that,
Yeah.
and on the sides also trying to get to these international opportunities on their own.
That's
Mm.
really, really good.
And
And
mm, I
it's
hope the girls will be able to address this with you.
yeah, I will definitely looking forward to have that discussion with them because I'm
Yeah.
right now I'm actually curious and I want to see like in what capacity can we from the diaspora also like support and help that initiative as well, you know? And
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so it would be really amazing to do that.
Mm.
Yeah, and then also for any client that it might not be in Juba, but it might be like anywhere in the world that they might need your service, where can they find you to get their web development and website built and things like that from you or from your team? Where can they find you for
Oh,
that?
okay. Thank you very much. Pretty much use X or Twitter,
Yeah,
and my handle. But I also think it's important to give out my email.
yeah,
Yes, so I have two different email addresses. One is hosted on my own, and the other one is, of course,
yeah,
the common marketplace email. That's Gmail. So the Gmail one is manzugerald@gmail.com,
yeah.
and I also have another one, manzugerald at manzugerald.net.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
I'll make
Mm.
sure to also include that. So in case anybody wanted to have their website designed, their website, any features or
Mm.
services, they can also contact you directly.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's really lovely to know to get to know like not only are you our professor, PhD holder, but
Not a professor.
like you're working on your PhD, right? Or you completed it.
Oh, actually, I'm graduating on Tuesday next week, 25th
See?
March. Yes.
Dr. Menzu. Okay. You heard it here first.
Thank you. Thank you.
So from today,
Yeah,
we
I had it. I had it from you first.
so Dr. Menzu, it's an honor. It was a privilege to have you here. And also for working with the girls to also like, help a lot of young females to tap into the STEM, as well as, just kind of sharing the light of like all the stuff that you do. Because to be honest, it's like you are doing so much. When do you find the balance to do all?
Yeah. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Missy. Everyone is actually busy,
Yeah.
but it's from the point of view that there are a lot of things that we need to focus on,
Yeah.
um, that we take in a lot of energy to focus on building certain things or
Yeah.
working on certain things and filling those gaps. So that's where I generate my energy. And I also think Nisi is doing a lot of work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
me, I feel like it's the calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it gets forgotten, And I
Mm.
literally, in my calendar, it even includes like prayer time, like 5 a.m. prayer time, 6 a.m. Start emailing, checking
Oh,
everything like a structure. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't get done.
okay. You're too Japanese then. It has been a pleasure to be on this platform. Actually,
Yeah.
I take it as a privilege.
Thank you so much.
I'm humbled to be here.
I can't wait for the world to hear your story, to know about all the incredible things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, Menzu,
Mm.
this has been a very insightful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your expertise, and also like your perception on sustainability, technology, and education. I personally also like learn a lot, especially like a lot of the tools that you were mentioning. I was just like, wow, so many of them, it's just out there. Before we wrap up, where can our audience connect with you and learn more about your work and things like that?
Okay. Thank you very much. Our audience can find me. I'm pretty much active on X these days
Yeah.
with the handle Menzu, but it's MAHNZU.
Okay.
Yes, and on Facebook, um, actually my name is Gerald Mansuk Lo'Rume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on Facebook I use Gerald Mansuk Lo'Rume, and on X I use Menzu.
Oh, was that like the Japan influence?
No, it's not the Japan influence, but on documents I'm called Menzu Gerald,
Okay. Okay.
and my when it comes to my traditional
Yeah.
names, South Sudanese, you have those connections.
Yeah.
Then it's Mansuk Lo'Rume, and yeah, I think on those two
Yeah.
platforms I'm accessible,
Yeah.
and on LinkedIn as well. I use Gerald Mansuk Lo'Rume.
Mhm.
And for for my work, research, um, I I'm glad at least search engines can return results about me. So
Yeah.
they can also follow from there, and they can be redirected to platforms like ResearchGate or Google Scholar or
Mhm.
others. And there's a lot of my research work that hasn't yet been published, and I look forward to publishing that. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much. I'll also make sure that I add those link in the description below as well as in the article so people can also get to connect with you and get
Thank
to
you very
also,
much.
like read your research papers as well as like
Mhm.
or any inspiring engineers or software developers that wanted to also learn more about your work and also connect with you, they'll be able to do so. To our viewers, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you follow him and connect with him in all the social media that he mentioned. Without further ado, I just want to say again, Menzu, thank you so much for being here. I know you're having a very busy day, but thank you for coming through, being a part of the show today.
Thank you so much, Neecee. It has been a pleasure to be hosted by you.
You're more than welcome to come back anytime. If there's any new project, any new stuff that you wanted to market or like showcase, feel free to come back anytime. And I look forward to also share your story and kind of like getting the world to know about who's Menzu is and what all the incredible things that you've been doing. You know, you have been a phenomenal guest. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you very much, Neecee. It
Thank
has
you.
been a pleasure to be
Have a
here.
great
Thank you.
afternoon. Take care.
Arigato gozaimasu.
What did you say? Arigatos.
Arigato gozaimasu. That's thank you in Japanese.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye
When I
bye.
come to Japan, I will learn it.
Yes, you should be able to.
All right, have a good one. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Neecee Lexy, yeah, remember the name. She's a boss, she's a vibe, watch her come alive, making moves, break stay along for the ride with Neecee Lexy. The hustle's worldwide.